guys are back in class after a week vacation, and so we'll get back on the practice floor today. We'll lift, we'll watch tape, and then we'll have a good practice. And today will really just be about us. We'll talk a little bit briefly maybe about Eastern Illinois, but really dive into them more on Tuesday and on Wednesday. Obviously, very good team we've got coming in here Thursday. Two good teams we play this week, but our focus right now is just on getting us better. We got to get better defensively. Got to continue to take care of the ball, share the ball, make good decisions, get good shots. We've got to defend and rebound as we go down the tail end of the stretch, as we go down the tail end of the season and the stretch run of the season right here. Two big games this week against two really good teams, probably the two most improved teams in our league this year. Jay and Heath have done incredible jobs there this season, and so watched Eastern last night, watched them this morning, watched a little bit of the TV game against SEMO, and so that was a big win for them last night. And so it's a big week, and it's a big week because it's the next week, and so we just got to try to get better.
You know, you guys are, it's no secret, on the verge of some great things, longest win streak, undefeated conference play, and you're closing out on 100 wins. Can you talk about that at all? I know you like to say 1-0 every day.
If we can go 1-0 Thursday, we can reach all that stuff. So that's the goal. We're 0-0. We reset the week, hit the reset button, and now we got to try to get better, and we got to try to do everything we can to send these seniors off in front of what I hope is an amazing crowd on Thursday night, because the weather should be good by then, and that we can send them out, with a home record, I think, of 31-2 over the last 2 years, those three seniors, which would be terrific. And, we will be able to get that 23rd straight win then, and we'd be able to put ourselves in a position still to run the table in conference. And so, we've got a good team coming in here, though. You got to guard them at all spots because Olivia and Anderson can score, and shoot, Johnston hadn't missed a three, I guess the announcer said, since December.
Jonathan's game on Saturday, I thought, was one of his better ones of the season. The way he moved, it seems like he's absolutely 100% now. And how nice is that for you to see him being able to do what he was able to do?
Well, and that's my one argument. And I'm glad you brought Jonathan up. Is he was a shell of himself, really both seasons. Last year he got hurt. With the sports hernia, had to have surgery, sat out the whole fall, and now this season. Same thing, sits out the whole fall, literally practices 2 days, 3 days after sitting out for 3 months and not being able to do any workouts, and then has to play. And so you can see the transformation really in both seasons to where he is now. I mean, he's a totally different player. He's our best defender. He's a huge low post threat, both offensive rebound scoring, defensive rebounding, and he brings a tremendous amount of leadership to our team, and so a tremendous amount of leadership to our team. And so really, really proud of his character, because he could have, we were almost thinking about redshirting him. That's how bad the injury was. I don't think people really understand what we were dealing with. And so he's a whole new man right now, and I mean, he's probably lost, his whole body looks totally different too. I mean, he couldn't get up and down the floor in Xavier's game 3-4 times. He just hadn't run in 3 months, with a guy that size. And so really proud of him.
I think when you're talking about him losing weight and getting into better shape, a couple plays against Austin Peay, he showed athletic ability that we haven't really seen. That's almost plays that Jarvis makes on a consistent basis.
Well, he's doing that. He's dunking. He's finishing around the rim. He did miss a couple dunks, though. Get on him about that, but when you see him. But, he's moving his feet, and he's a really good lateral athlete, and, we switch ball screens sometimes late shot clock. He can sit down and guard the point guard, guard the wing. May not be every single possession, but on those, every third, fourth, fifth possession, he can do that. And I forget who we were playing. He did a great job down in that opposite corner down there of, I think the guy ended up dribbling the ball out of bounds. He did a tremendous job. And so Jonathan's a terrific athlete when he's in shape, and now he's in shape and feeling really, really good.
Tell us about Chris Olivier and the dynamic that he gives him now that he's back. Seems like he hasn't missed a beat from his mononucleosis, but also address matchup issues Trey Anderson gives us.
Yeah, I thought mono took longer than that. I was to recover from. But You know, I looked at the score box the other night, and they were playing Martin. I guess it was Martin, and I was like, oh, man, Olivier's back. Because I wasn't really following him until, I was just kind of following the scores the other night because we were off. And I was like, oh, man, he's back. And he had 25 or 28, something ridiculous. And now I've got a chance to watch them play with him back in the lineup last night and this morning. And, man, he can really, really score around that basket. And they really put an emphasis on getting him the basketball. And so we've got to do a really good job on him. You know, the thing they do, they can spread the floor, though, too. They can make shots. I mean, Johnson can shoot. You know, Visor, Chapman, those guys can make shots. What Anderson gives them, he'll take jump shots, but he gives them another. He's not as much of a dominant post threat as more of a, pick and pop, drive your bigs. And so we've got to be locked in at both our 4 and our 5 defensively. That's going to be a key matchup for us.
Back to the magnitude of this week. Is it the calmness because all of it goes for knives because you're real concerned with winning the conference championship and that's really what the main goal is? All the stuff is nice, but it doesn't matter if you don't win the conference championship next week.
Say that again.
Just talk about the magnitude. It's a big week magnitude, but talk about how I get the sense from you guys, conference championship, tournament championship is the only thing that you guys are really concerned about. It's nice to get everything, but really when it's said and done, you guys just want to win the conference tournament championship.
I'm not even thinking about the conference tournament right now, to be honest. You couldn't even tell who you're going to play. Them seeds are so mixed up, 2 through 8. I think SEMO may be locked in the 8 spot now. But, we've got a chance to do something that probably 4 years ago, and that everybody, if you asked, when we won 31 games in 2010, everybody said it'll never be done again. We did it 2 years later. Won 23 games in a row, everybody said, man, that'll never be done again. And now here we are again. And so our focus really isn't about the conference tournament. And mine isn't. I will worry about that Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, the following week. We got a chance to do something really, really special here. And it's going to take an unbelievable effort from everybody that's a part of this program and part of this family. And that means players, administrators, fans, everybody, because these are 2 very good teams we're playing, very well-coached teams that have all league caliber guys, at a couple different positions. And so it's senior night. There's a ton to play for. Like we mentioned earlier, with the 20, got a chance to tie the longest winning streak in the history of the conference, and still got a chance to be one of only 5 schools to run the gauntlet in 70. How long the league been around, Dave?
This is the 67th season.
In 70 years. There have been a lot of really good teams come through here. And so, and I've been fortunate to be part of a couple of them. And, we were 17-1, 15-1. It's not easy because you have to be great every day. And so we'll worry about the conference tournament next Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
You talked about the opportunities in front of you. A guy that's helping you out this year, Jawan, experienced that a couple of years ago going through that. Has he been able to talk with players? Has players gone to him for advice on how to approach this kind of situation because it doesn't happen that often?
I don't know. I don't see it, if they do. When the GA or those guys are probably talking to my players, I'm probably not going to be around. And so I probably don't see it. But the reason I want former players in that spot, everybody talks about Kentucky, and you want to emulate programs. Like I watched that Carolina thing the other day. Carolina, the tribute to Dean Smith yesterday, and that was powerful. And my thought process sitting there watching it is, and I wanted to really pay homage to Dean Smith and Tarkanian, because we lost 2 legends of the game last week. But I'm sitting there thinking is the best thing about like the summer things that we do is we're not at the stage of Carolina, and I'm not sitting here saying that, but we can have that type of family atmosphere here that, Popeye Jones follows us right now today. I get texts all the time from former players, and so this is a neat place, and that's why I want Jawan around or an Aubrey Reese around, even though that sweater was bad. He wore it the other day. He got me on that. He came out from the locker room about 5 minutes and snuck it in on everybody. But you want those guys, and I was talking about Kentucky. That's why he had Tony Delk. That's why he had Scott Padgett. That's why he brought, and he didn't coach him. I didn't know Aubrey Reese from you, but that's what but you bring those guys back to be able to talk to those guys. So I'm sure they're talking to Jawan. They joke with him. When I see him around Jawan, they're joking and having a good time because he screws the film up here and there. But, I'm sure off the floor that they do because Jawan's very, very well respected.
I've got a couple of questions about Cameron Payne. He's really on kind of a historic pace statistically from what he's doing here at Murray State. Talk just a little bit about that, and then where do you think he's improved the most from last year?
We're going to talk about the Bob Cousy Award, or we already did it on Saturday?
You can talk about that if you want.
So, you know, Cam, I mean, he's been amazing. I mean, there's not, you know, I'm going to move on. I did my Bob Cousy rant. It was a disservice to him not to be on that list. That's just the bottom line. That shouldn't have happened. I mean, the 5th most efficient player on a team that's won 22 games in a row to not be voted. I mean, something's wrong with the process. And we're talking about, should we lower the shot clock and do this? You know, everybody says it's about student welfare. Let's make sure we're honoring the right guys. You know, and that was a disservice to him. It really was, because he embodies what the award is about. You know, he does the right thing off the floor. He's awesome in the community. He's a great, great student. Comes from a great family. You know, 5th most efficient player in the country. 20 points a game. You know, had 22 points the other night, 8 assists, 1 turnover, gets 2-3 steals a game. I mean, it's amazing that he could be left off that. But what he's done, though, he's impacted our program. He's been able to take Isaiah Cannon, and I love Isaiah Cannon, and say, hey, I love you, but I may do you one better, you know. And so he just has such a great feel and IQ for the game. He's really a total extension of our coaching staff. Everybody has to, when you're on really good teams with special players, you have to accept you're the guy. And we had to do that a little bit early in the season. And I've been with great teams here where we weren't able to do that, so we didn't max out. You know, my first year with Isaiah, they all said, hey, he's the guy, and let's roll. Once we got through that little struggle in November, everybody said that. And what Cam does, he just makes everybody else better. He makes the game easier for everybody. Makes it easier for me and my staff. Makes it easier for the post players. But we're just not a Cameron Payne team, though. We do have other really, really good players with Moss and Sapp and Seymour, and Wayne's getting better. And I know the question was about Cam, but, you know, his biggest thing, I just think he's older. He's gotten a little bigger, stronger. You know, obviously being thrust into the fire last year, you had to let him play and give him confidence. But I thought his second half of the season last year, he was really, really good and special. And, you know, I'm sure he's going to be the player of the year in the league this year. I don't think that's a big debate. But, you know, I think he's just gotten better because he's a year older. But, you know, his IQ, his feel, his shooting, I think his attention to wanting to be a good defensive player has probably gotten a little bit better. And he's just older and he's mature. I looked at that list, and one-on-one, if I'm a GM for the Spurs and you call me and you're the GM for the Lakers, I'm not trading. You better throw in about 3-4 first-round picks.
As a coach, competitor, how special is this for you with everything you got hands on?
Oh, you want it bad, you know. You want to be remembered as the elite of the elite. You know, when you look around and you walk around this program, I mean, there's pressure here now. Don't get me wrong. But that's good though. I mean, there's a lot of pressure here as a coach and a player, because there's a lot of responsibility here to do the right things, to involve everybody, everybody feel a part of it, and so, you know, everybody shares in the success. Because I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Coach Kennedy, you know, and. You know, Cam may not come if it wasn't the success of Isaiah. And it goes all the way down back to the, you know, D.T. Mays and Aubrey and Godfrey and all them guys. Everybody's made this program what it is. And so the great thing about it is everybody's rooting for us, you know. And so it'd be special, you know, but we just got to try to get through Thursday first and do the right thing on senior night and get it done. And then we'll evaluate the next game the next day. Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. Winning's fun. I mean, winning's fun. I mean, that's the bottom line. I'll never forget. I was at Southeastern. I was an assistant when we first got there, getting our heads beat in, and our trainers, God love him, named Doc, about 60, 70 years old, and he's like, these kids aren't having no fun. That's why. I said, they're not having fun because we're 7 and 20. That's why they're not having fun. If they're 22 and 5, they'd be having a ball. You know, winning's fun, but you got to have good kids, and that's what makes it fun. These guys are fun to be around. They're good kids, good character, and I could tell you a lot of stuff. I mean, you know, the best thing about it is like the people after the game. I mean, our guys are signing autographs, taking pictures. That just doesn't happen everywhere. I'm just telling you.
It is senior night Thursday. Could you talk a little bit about each of those three guys?
Yeah, I touched base. We talked about him a little bit earlier when I was doing my TV show with Dave. What a remarkable 2-year run they've had. You know, where you come in and basically it's brand new. We've got nobody back. I mean, it's just a whole new team. Let's just try to figure it out. And you get your heads beat in. And you're 2-5, and you end up winning 21 out of 27. Have a chance to win a conference championship. Go win the CIT. Beat 3 top 100 teams in that run. Come back the next year, have all these expectations, and you hit rock bottom. And because of those 3 guys' character and toughness and ability, because you got to have good players, and they got to have some ability to get that done, they've won 22 games in a row and done it the right way. I mean, TJ, as good as a leader as possibly could be, made all big shots. Who'd he hit the shot here against that tied it up? Was it Eastern? Who'd he make the big 3? Hit a big 3 again in a game here, you know, where we needed. Maybe it was Martin. Maybe it was Martin. Now EKU, Seymour made the Martin shot, right? But or vice versa. But you know, has made big plays up at SEMO. You know, Cam's out. That's just a testament to TJ's character. And he's got a little daughter now up here, and you know, and all 3 of these seniors are going to graduate, you know, with a championship. You know, Jonathan Farrell has showed so much character with his injuries, coming back from injuries every time. And if you knew Jarvis Williams, the growth he's made as a person since he's gotten here is outstanding. And that's what we want to do. You got to challenge these guys in every area so when they leave here, they're ready to go. And hopefully these guys are ready because they're all 3 going to be very, very successful. And I'm proud to coach them.